Hello everybody and welcome to Texas for round 8 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Series here. 125 laps ahead of us, nearly 200 miles. Oval racing is back in the IndyCar Open Series. It's a pleasure to be broadcasting this one for you here live on RaceSpotTV. My name is Jim O'Leary. I'm alongside Lorenzo Bonda for this 8th round of our championship. It's great to be back, Lorenzo. IndyCar racing, oval racing, and there'll be 3 of these over the next 5 weeks for us to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy to be back into these broadcasts. This is one of my main cars. I've been in the community for since 2020, so it's good to, finally be able to broadcast and commentate on a race, especially at Texas, one of the best tracks in the entire calendar.
It certainly is. Let's take a look at that calendar now with the 3 ovals coming up. We've got Belle Isle next week, of course, to the street course there. Actually, no road courses left in that way. We've got Nashville after that. Then it's the Montreal circuit in Canada before our trip to Pocono to end out the season at the end of February. So hope you will be with us for all of those here on RaceSpotTV. It's going to be enjoyable and it's going to be a good way to get things started off here tonight. Let's have a look at the standings as well as we go towards this 8th round of the championship. After 7 rounds, Adam Blocker has created quite a lead in the standings. He's currently 79 ahead of Kevin Burrell, who's only 1 point ahead of John Martin. As for how many of the 12 you can see on your screen at the moment will be in our race here tonight, that of course remains to be seen. But Adam Blocker here, Lorenzo, has a decent championship lead, and I guess it's no surprise that he has, given his prowess in this car.
No, naturally. It's so natural to see Adam Blocker at the top of the standings. Missed last week as Zandvoort and allowed Kevin Burrell, John Martin, Marquez, Carasala, so everybody else just jump up a little bit in the point standing. So that would be his drop week, therefore making this season tightly more contested, but still domination from the Powerslide Motorsports driver.
Yep, and a good start to the season. Here is a look at Texas then, the venue that we'll be racing with here this evening. What are the particular things that we're going to be looking out for here, Lorenzo, in terms of the 125 laps and nearly 200 miles we've got lined up tonight?
It's going to be quite interesting because open setups allow you to work the draft much more than working with the fixed draft. So you're not going to have to lift off. You can work more the way jackers. You can work the ARBs, the anti-roll bars. One of the things is going to be key is washing out on the draft, especially with a lot of cars on the traffic, and this is like one of these what we call pack races. So this is going to be a very nerve-wracking start, and then all is going to transition to nerve-wracking to near chaotic all the way to the pit stops.
And this race is exactly half as long as the real life race that took place in 2023 here at Texas, which was 250 laps, by the way, for reference for those of you at home. I'm sure many of you remember it. Just how is this one going to differ? Because that race was obviously twice as long, but it did have some very long green flag runs, and in the end, only 8 cars finished on the lead lap. I think at one point, only 2 or 3 cars were on the lead lap. Are we expecting to see something similar to that, or is that a bit of a fantasy, really, for long green flag runs?
We can see something similar within the same category. I would say maybe less cars because these, like I said, is pack racing. So whenever you get a crash, it's definite that you're going to see usually big ones or like, let's say 5-6 cars involved even. So that makes things a little bit more complicated. But let's see how strategy plays out and how aggressive they will be off the gun.
We're into qualifying right now, just over 4 minutes remaining in that. In terms of the big names of those who are up towards the front in the standings, we do have Adam Blocker in our session on this occasion. We've got Jacob Oster here as well, Kevin Burrell as well. So the top 2 in the championship are both here. So those are some of the notable ones. Robert Maleczka will of course be up there as well. So all of those to watch out for. Question coming in the YouTube chat, by the way, is open for open setup or open participation? Well, I guess it's kind of both, isn't it, really, Lorenzo? It's certainly open setup. These guys will get to play with whatever they want to here today, but also anybody can join this. This is an official split, of course.
No, this is an official split, and more importantly, this is the first split. So we just passed midnight, so this is actually the first time they will tackle the track. Of course, they did practices before that, but of course, it's gonna be interesting how they will negotiate. As we see Marcus coming out of turn number 4, do his lap for the mad work with Scow RS, and see how they will navigate the 1.5 mile track. But it's open for setups and open for everybody to participate as long as you have the C license.
Yeah, as long as you have the C license, the good enough I rating to get into the broadcasted split, then you can be here as well. Connor Harrington now makes his way towards the line. Private label team hype driver of a long time, of course, in the 11 car today. That's a bit of a warm-up lap by the looks of things. Now we'll keep things a little bit lower to the white line, a line that we'll see used a lot here this afternoon. James Allen goes up towards the top as well. That's third place for the 15 car in qualifying at the moment. We're about halfway through. Olivia Hayward also jumps up. It's going to be one of those washing machine sessions where we're going to see drivers get up towards the front and fall back again in the same moment. Harrington goes up to 5th place, but only 9 drivers with time so far. Adam Blocker not one of them just yet.
No, we haven't seen Blocker, Maletka, Demerit, Osman, Armin, Oster, Nicholas Sudik. So we haven't seen the bulk of the track going on out on the track yet. So we expect these standings to shuffle quite a lot once everybody goes out for their first lap.
There is Robert Maletka in a rather fetching hat. I don't know what that's called, but it's rather fetching anyway. The number
straw
1
hat.
car, it is straw hat. That's the word I was looking for. He makes his way up towards the line right now to go better than his previous one, as expected, and it will go to the top. 23 thousandths quicker than Mark Aurelio Brazil to go to the top of the standing so far. Will that be enough for pole? It's still a fair way to find out. Mark Murphy won't displace him. He'll go 4th here. It's getting closer at the top.
No, of course, it's getting closer to the top. It's going to be quite interesting. We're going to see these margins be so close to one another as now Oster goes into the top, the i5G driver now leading the pack, and we're yet to see Blocker's second lap. He's lower by 1 second, but we know that is not his final lap.
We're going on board for the first time here this evening as Christopher Demerit goes up towards 2nd place in the number 2 car. So we've got 7 in first, then it's the number 2 at the front of the field. But what about Adam Blocker here in the 4 car? It's going to be over the line for him, 21st at the moment, but he'll jump up to 1st with this time. 17 thousandths of a second quicker than Jacob Oster, and the championship leader gets off to a very good start with a very nice time.
No, absolutely. What a time from Blocker, and just coming out on the clutch. You can see 40 next to 40 seconds left on the clock. You'd still be able to get like 1 lap in, but just coming in clutch and basically locking out what would be a i5G 1-2.
It looks like it, and that looks to be the end of the session, does it? Blaise Andrich has not quite completed the session just yet, but I don't think he's going to have time to do so. Well, maybe actually. Andrich, I think he's out there at the moment on a possible out lap. Is this a warm-up lap? No, this is the first lap. This is the first flying lap for Andrich. So what's the benchmark going to be? Although we're crossing the line with only about 10 seconds remaining, that, even with anyone's maths, is going to understand that that is not quite enough time to get a proper lap in. It will be 24th for the driver of the 24. So that's the back row of the grid for Blaise Andrich. We'll go through all of them right now and see who is where at the start of this race. Round 8 of the IndyCar Open Series here from Texas Motor Speedway. 125 laps ahead of us. And it will be the championship leader Adam Blocker on the front row with Jacob Oster. It will be Christopher Demerit and Robert Maletka on row 2 ahead of Hamilton Akabuezi and Mark Aurelio Brazil on row 3. Russia Craig is 7th ahead of AJ Musselman with Jesper Orman and Seb Alexander to round out the top 10. Mark Murphy will be alongside Alan McQuarrie in 12th place. Kevin Burrell, maybe surprisingly down in 13th position to share row 7 with Rob Ungler-Nix in that 16 car. It will be Olivia Hayward and Matt Taylor next with Nicholas Sudik and James Allen on the 9th row. Connor Harrington and Andrew Marquez round out the top 20 with Jack Mara and Laura Gerhardt before Olivia Semenu and Blaise Andrich to round out the 24 drivers we have here this evening for this race. Our timing screen here, Lorenzo, telling us this is going to take 50 minutes, this race, which might be true if it runs green the whole way, but you can't imagine that's going to be the case.
Nah, I've driven Texas long enough. This is not going to be 15 minutes. Expect a 4-hour race, maybe full hour, 1 hour and 10 minutes, depending how things goes. But one thing I can promise, it's gonna be frantic from start to finish. I love Texas. It is one of my favorite ovals. I think it's from the community is one of the most highest rated ovals in terms of drive and have fun, even though it's nerve-wracking. So can't wait to see this 125 laps around the Texan track.
I misheard you then. Thought you said 4 hours. But,
no,
full hour. Yeah,
full hour.
1 hour.
Full hour.
I don't think there is a time limit on this, by the way, but it can go long. I do wonder what we're going to see as well in terms of green flag runs. I know we briefly touched on it earlier on, but sometimes in oval racing it can be one of those days where it's very stop-start and pretty uninspiring to watch, and we could have one of those races where one of those freak races where we don't see a caution. That's the beauty of oval racing. You do not know what you're going to get.
No, of course, and we normally would expect to see with just such a high-rated field that knows each and everybody by driving in private leagues, in the officials, that they know how to run, they know each other's style. So it's basically like just taking care of your tires and everything at the start. Your tires are limited. You have about like 3 sets for you to do in this race, up to 3 sets if I recall correctly. I know in the fix you have 3 sets, so managing the tires, especially in a track that you can easily get like pushed off with the arrow push coming into turn number 1 and 3, it's vital that you maintain those for a really good run.
Lots of discussion in YouTube quickly, Lorenzo, about Adam Blocker's speeds. How is he going to be beaten today?
It's going to be interesting because Demerit and Oster, they know how to navigate the car around, and the i5G setup for super speedways is very well set, but it's kind of like Oster needs to get that lead and put Adam on the leash, short leash, fast.
We'll see how they get off to a start as nearly 200 miles ahead of us here at the Texas Motor Speedway. It's round 8 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Series here on RaceSpotTV. Adam Blocker now in control of the field and ready to get us underway for 125 laps. The green flag is in the air. We're racing at Texas Motor Speedway, and it's a very even start for the front row. Adam Blocker and Jacob Oster go side by side into 1 and 2 for the first time as the field spread out up the banking. We're racing at Texas.
A 3-1 nearly between Maleczka, the Merit, and Brazil. I think Brazil managed to go through, so Maleczka dropping down on the order a little bit, and now the Merit jumped into P2 and Blocker retaining P1.
Oster briefly getting shuffled back there by Christopher Demerit, who's still side by side with the leader. Very high line at the moment being taken. I think that's Hamilton Akabueze, and that is a bit higher than we were expecting to see.
No, absolutely, but it's a good line for you to break away from the toe. You're not going to lose a lot because you get the speed on the acceleration from turn 1 to turn 2. So, and also you save a little bit of tire. So it's not a bad strategy from Abuka Akabueze right there.
Very high. Look how that's not even the third lane, probably a fourth lane. It's almost out of the darker grey on the inside line there. Remarkable as Adam Blocker goes to defend again. Is this going to be a theme of the race? Christopher Demerit working round the outside. Adam Blocker holding tough to the inside.
You have to commit to inside line is the best line for you to defend around Texas. You can overtake on the outside line, but you really need to commit to your run to the outside and nail the exit for you to do that overtake or catch your opponent off guard into the inside.
There it is again. It's almost like watching a replay again and again and again. Demerit on the outside, Adam Blocker holding very tough on the inside. Marco Aurelio Brazil has had a good run early on here. He's now got up to third, and now he's challenging Demerit. The situation may change here with the leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes a Brazilian driver on the outside. He's being highly aggressive. That's his mark. You know, we know that Marco Aurelio off the get-go, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to storm out of the gates, and I think everybody else is already thinking about fuel. So probably on mode 5 in Brazil, thinking otherwise.
Looks like Hamilton Acabouez is going backwards a little bit, but it's side by side for the lead. Marco Aurelio Brazil wants this lead. Adam Blocker holding in the inside at the moment, and there's just not enough room around there for Brazil to really get alongside and get ahead. It remains a wonder, how do you get past Adam Blocker in this situation? We've seen Christopher Demerit give it a go and be unsuccessful. Marco Aurelio Brazil now trying to do it in towards turn one. He seems to get the best run through here on that run to the line, and briefly maybe gets his nose ahead, but he can't, well, clear Adam Blocker on the inside and can't get past at all.
No, especially with the given fact that Blocker is a master in defending that inside line. I think he's one of the best in defending the inside line. And that makes so much difficult for everybody to make that overtake. It's just slightly frustrating. Even though you're running high line and you're not wasting a lot of rubber, it's just trying to maintain your patience the best you can throughout this thing.
A little bit higher there from Demerit as he tried to find his way past Brazil. Does he get to the inside now in the 10 car? Marco Aurelio Brazil might be about to give us our first lead change of the day at Texas. Inside of 3 and 4 for Marco Aurelio Brazil, and he will be in the lead here at Texas. Over the line at the end of 8 laps here tonight, and Brazil has taken it. Adam Blocker now into the field, and we'll see how he races in the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what we were looking for, a little bit of chaos. Now Blocker knows how to run the with the pack right in front of him. It's not the biggest pack, it's just one car, so you don't have like the situation that Oster is in. Armin is also in. You have 3, 4, maybe 2 cars ahead of you sharing draft, and it just makes things more complicated to set your lines. Therefore, we have a race in our hands now.
And here comes Mark Murphy using that 4th lane almost right to the outside in the red car you can see for Little Eagle Racing and Black Magic Designs. At the moment he's in 4th. He's really gained places so far today, by the way, and now he's searching for those podium places maybe. Still side by side for the lead, by the way. Brazil has not exactly gotten into the same comfortable position that Adam Blocker was able to, but now we've got new challenges into this arena of those fighting for the race lead.
Yeah, and I think now they're starting just a little bit of, we're not going to conserve a little bit of fuel anymore. That Brazil is pushing the pace. He's forcing the pace out of everybody to be faster. Of course, they're not going to overcommit the car, but it makes the race more open to everybody. It's likely a little bit more nerve-wracking in how you proceed that, especially if you're coming into like from 5th all the way back. So it's still interesting, and more importantly, we're still green despite everything that is transpiring. And nerve-wracking as it sees cars nearly driving about 220 miles per hour.
I mean, even real life, we've seen a big incident even towards the green flag in the past, so yes, it can happen everywhere as we go side by side again for the lead. Brazil on the inside, holding that inside, and it seems to me, or seems so far, the only place to do it is getting that run off of turn 2 and getting to the inside of 3, but if Brazil just continues to hold that inside line and protects that inside line, it's very difficult for Adam Blocker to do anything about that.
Yeah, that line is the primary line for overtaking. You can kind of do it on the outside, but you kind of have to be side by side coming into turn number 1 and take away the momentum of the car in the bottom. He's still going to run like tight to the bottom side. He's still going to have the speed coming out of turn number 1, but it's still a difficult pass for you to do.
It is, as being proven right now. Everyone's still in the group, by the way. All 24 drivers still in this race, still running well in one long line here at Texas. Side by side through 1 and 2 again as Adam Blocker gets closer to that inside line. There's the move, there's the inside line. There should be the lead.
There you go, Blocker said and done. And here comes Mark Murphy as well.
Here we go. Mark Murphy through to 2nd. Is he going to go through to 1st? He's not quite going to be there by the line, but he's going to use that high line. He's been a bit higher than others on occasion here so far in this race, and we are seeing that line just being chased up the racetrack, but Blocker does want to lead this race all over again. Mark Murphy seems to want to take it off him, but not able to do so just yet. Look at Brazil on the resurgence as well.
Yeah, Brazil tried to get a run on Murphy, try to take away a little bit of his momentum right there. And look at Orman on the inside, coming into turn number 1, trying to do the overtake on the merit. He's lowered into the entry of turn number 1, so it makes the overtaking more difficult for the Indy Alliance racing driver. So it is just interesting how they operate. Coming to turn number 3, 3 wide for the first place.
Whoa, that was close. Jesper Oman is involved here as well, though, in that 5th position. In fact, he's got past Demerit now for 4th. In fact, he's going past Brazil for 3rd and maybe past Mark Murphy for 2nd. This could be a great run to the front for the driver of the number 5 car, but he is going to get freight trained a bit on the outside as the first caution flag of the day is flying out here at Texas. It's AJ Musselman and Seb Alexander who have made contact. They were running just outside the top 10, and they are the ones who have brought out this first caution of the day, or at least involved in it.
Yeah, I really want to look on the replay what happened to the Musselman and Seb Alexander, so the people in the YouTube chat are not going to be happy with the fact that Seb Alexander is out of this race already, or with some heavy damage moving early on in this race. But that's just the nature of Texas, because you're running so close to the other. Here on the replay, even things can happen in the blink of an eye.
They can. Let's see what happened here down in towards 1 and 2. It's so there's the contact.
Oh.
There's the initial contact. It was just Seb Alexander and Musselman as well who made the contact, and everyone else avoided. So we should still have 22 healthy race cars in the pack, but that's always a danger when you're running behind. You've got to be wary of those slowing up in front of you, otherwise that will happen.
Yeah, and also we have to take over the fact that now everybody coming into the pit lane, this is going to be natural. We're not going to see anyone, except maybe from the back, to try to take something different. But the tires over here play a lot of an effect on the car. That you're coming into blazing fast speeds, Ewan. So it's hard for you to calculate the distance whenever you're coming into the turn and see who's going to be side by side and things like that. Single monitor drivers need spotters and things like that, and otherwise just make things more difficult. Here's Murphy.
Who is going to win the race off pit road? It's going to be Adam Blocker ahead of Mark Murphy, then Jesper Oman, Marco Aurelio Brazil and Christopher Merritt. I don't think that that may be the exact same order actually, but it's very similar to the same top 5 as to what we just saw, so not much having changed there in the pit stops. Who's taken a long stop? Well, nobody other than the 2 at the back of the field. AJ Musselman and Seb Alexander are laps down already, and so realistically we're down to 22 contenders for this race win.
Yeah, but it's still 22 contenders in a pack racing, if you want to call it that, and so this race is still open for everybody if you want to think about it.
It is. This is on board with Seb Alexander in the incident. This gives us a better view as to what happened. Just almost carelessly gets into the back of Musselman there and gets into the wall. The front left, ruined, and he is down on pit lane. Adam Blocker's accidentally overtaken the pace car here, but needs to be careful about that and let that back through again so we can get started all over again. But yeah, a bit careless from Seb Alexander, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I'm not going to blame wholeheartedly on Seb on this one, because here's what happens. I think if you see for his live frame, there's a driver I think right in front. I don't know who that one specifically, might have been Malechka, coming into turn number 1, closes the line from AJ Musselman, and that kind of impedes his momentum. Therefore he has to lift off the gas. I think by lifting off the gas got Seb's attention just in the nick of time, and the Swedish driver could not brake in time, and thus causing the crash.
Well, it's unfortunate, but as you say, we've got 22 cars still involved. Olivia Hayward has come back down pit lane again. Not sure whether that's for a splash or what that's for, but he has. So she'll be at the back of the field. Looks like we've got the lights off on top of the pace car. We'll be back racing again. I mean, I wonder what we learned from that first green flag run here, Lorenzo, as to what we're going to see for the remainder of this race.
It's going to be interesting now that these restarts are single files. I think it's going to be slightly quiet. It's quiet at the front, but not quiet at the middle to the back. I think this is what we're going to see, movements starting to happen more often. And we know Texas is one of these tracks that yellow can breed yellow, so they have to be cautious with the approach off the restart. Otherwise, this becomes a yellow flag race.
Let's hope that it doesn't first caution completes here at Texas. And in control of the field again for the second time, it's Adam Blocker, of course. Green flag back in the air at Texas. Very close over the line between a couple of drivers in the midfield, by the way, but we're underway again. It's actually been a very good jump from Adam Blocker, and on this occasion, as opposed to the race start, we've got a bit more spread in the field here off of the 22nd lap of this race. So Adam Blocker still leads with less pressure behind.
Yeah, but there's still massive pressure. That pressure is going to build up from Arm and Mark Murphy. You can see him on the outside trying to set up an overtake, taking the high line. He's going to get a good run out here on the outside. Still going to be side by side with Blocker here, Ewan. But that pressure is going to mount down as well, because we can see Demerit and Marco Aurelio coming down closer and closer really soon.
And Jesper Ullmann is going to try and force this one as well. Didn't decide to go free wide there, but you wonder if this is in 100 laps time, whether he might have gone for that. Side by side again, Mark Murphy getting the closest anybody has to making a move on the outside, especially through 3 and 4, but it doesn't look like he's quite able to manage it. He's even got his nose ahead on the way in here, but can't quite get the run through 3 and 4. What about this time?
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be able to make that overtake, but it opens up a nearly third line for Orman to try to take advantage of it. The Swedish driver has to be a little bit less aggressive on the throttle, and you can see because of that, brings Brazil and Demerit into the fray, like I said.
Here they go. We've got a battle for 7th place going on at the moment, by the way, between Rob Ungler-Nix and Collar Harrington as well. It looks like the 16 car has gotten through in that one, but we've got great racing for the race lead. For first and for third, Marco Aurelio, Brazil, wants to make his mark, and he's searching high again to retake that race lead.
Yeah, absolutely. But and that's one of the things, you know, we're going to see Aurelio being very aggressive. Sometimes in some races there is that thing of, you know, aggressive is careless, or makes things more careless, as you're going to see 3-1 near contact between Mark Murphy and Brazil.
First time we've seen 3 wide really all day from memory. Brazil tries to search very high, certainly 3 wide for the lead anyway, that we've been watching here. Adam Blocker still holding on to the lead though, and Mark Murphy's getting relatively close to bringing that outside lane in and hopefully making a move. Brazil ducks down low, although maybe a bit early. Now he'll be on the inside, maybe he'll grab 2nd place here so he can have a go at the race lead.
Yeah, but not only you can see that his car is slightly had a little bit of a whip coming into the outside of turn number 4, that maybe the weight jacker just playing into the effect of the car a little bit and lost momentum because of it. Not only because of that, because Blocker was right in front of him coming to turn number 1, losing the P2 for Mark Murphy and opening the door for everybody else right behind him to contest for the position.
It's all very close again at the front of the field. I mentioned that it was a bit more spread out as we went back to green, but not anymore. We've got this train reformed. This pack is reformed here in this race. So Adam Blocker still leads, and it's Mark Murphy, Jesper Ullmann in the next position, followed by Marco Aurelio, Brazil, and Christopher Demerit in the top 5. But all of these positions look like changing at the moment. Jesper Ullmann, the latest to go for this 2nd place.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if anybody's going to try to take a very, very aggressive line into the outside, as now Orman goes into P2, but Murphy doesn't have the momentum into the inside, even though he's going to be able to defend that. Now Aurelio into P3.
Where's Ullmann going there? He's going up the hill and maybe through into the race lead here. It's side by side, 100th between them at the line. Jesper Ullmann is suddenly going very quickly indeed, and maybe he can just take a lead here for a couple of laps on the outside. It's going to be tricky again though as they go into 3 and 4.
3 and 4, but he opens up the wide line into 3. You can see nearly riding the side panel of the American driver, nearly making contact into the start-finish line, but things getting frantic. Now Demerit coming into the fray as well, battling for 3rd place.
Demerit looking to the inside, Brazil looking for the very outside. What about this time for Jesper Ullmann? He's further alongside, he's further ahead into 3 and 4, but he's not quite clear, and that's where you need to be. He squeezes Adam Blocker on the low line, and here goes Marco Aurelio, Brazil, going to look for the 3 wide moment, but there's just a blocked racetrack in front of him. Doesn't know where to go, can't go anywhere, and Jesper Ullmann still can't find his way through. It's nearly 3 wide in the background. He's going to try again on the backstretch.
No, absolutely, and made things more difficult. Looks like the rush hour traffic of sorts, if you want to call it, is going to squeeze Blocker again to the inside, but it's not going to have the momentum. Allows Brazil to come through. Nearly forms a 3 wide, actually 3 wide, come to the stretch of turn number 1, but no overtake so far.
It squeezed Oman though, and his line may have just been compromised, and that might have just stopped him from going through, and it has. So Adam Blocker hangs on. Marco Aurelio Brazil is the aggressor in this one. Now he goes for second place, very nearly gets into the back of Adam Blocker, who's still leading here and has led most of this race so far. We're now a quarter of the way through already here at Texas. It's been enthralling so far, but we've still got no idea who's going to win this one.
And no idea whatsoever. And talking about guys that might have no idea, what about Connor Harrington coming outside of the top 10? I think it was P13, P14 when this race started. Now the private label team hype driver into the nearly the top 5. Yeah,
so nice run from Harrington. He's held on to 7th for quite some time now. Goodness me, he doesn't want to get involved in what's going on ahead either, does he really? He's just quite happy to sit back and watch, and you can't blame him really. The likes of Connor Harrington, Jacob Oster, Kevin Burrell, it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Those top class drivers just sitting there watching this happen. Are they the smart ones in this? Just waiting for the end of the race before they start doing all this stuff?
No, we're going to expect things to actually kick off more intensively by the final, let's say, 15, 20 laps. That's where the yellow flag, I think, is going to be more live than anything else. But this is just the nature of the racing. You kind of see this Daytona-esque switchback of positions and things like that. But it's just how racing in Texas is with these cars.
And it's absolutely enthralling. Marco Aurelio Brazil ahead at the through 1 and 2, but can't stay ahead. Jesper Oman on our inside here as we're on board with Christopher Demerit side by side into 3 and 4, working the high line through here. And it's interesting, isn't it, Lorenzo, that the high line is, or you can go so close to the wall through 1 and 2, but nowhere near it in 3 and 4.
Because the banking at turn number 3 and 4 is higher, it's 24 degrees, so it kind of eases you to be in the middle line, the line 1 and 2, which would be the low line. The middle line it's the more used. Orman nearly crashes into the Merit, has to actually face off into the inside, loses momentum, opens the door for the I5G driver to come in and try to do the overtake. They're still side by side.
Still side by side as we complete another lap here at Texas. 39 now complete. We're careering towards a 3rd distance already. It's been a nice race so far. Only the crash earlier on in the first 20 laps for AJ Musselman and Seb Alexander has brought out the only caution of the day so far. But other than that, it's been clean and green racing, and it's been Adam Blocker leading most of the way.
Yeah, most of the way, but still no overly dominant. Just the nature of this track that you have the lead, but it's kind of like for how long you can actually hold that stretch than anything else. As we're seeing Brazil trying to grow aggressive again on the gas outside of turn number 3 and 4, get the run. My question is what kind of mode or engine mode they're using at this point of the race? Are they saving fuel? Are they thinking about saving fuel, looking for the long run, or everybody's just gunning out of the gate once they've done their pit stops to try to get closer and closer, and Brazil losing momentum?
Well, yeah, exactly. And it comes back to the whole thing about cautions as well, Lorenzo, about how many cautions do we think we're going to have for the remainder of this one? Are we going to see any green flag stops? That probably factors into the thinking too.
Yes. No, absolutely, because that yellow flag came about lap 19-ish or 17-ish, so it kind of makes the race a little bit more interesting. Who's that on the outside that kind of grinded the wall? I think it was Glenix. Glenix grinded the wall.
He did. He got just a bit too high. I was mentioning you can get really close to the wall through 1 and 2, but not that close. Rob Unglenix unfortunately goes right to the back of the field, and that shows you how disruptive and costly a mistake like that is. However, we stay green and we will continue racing here. Only 1 caution so far, and we will stay green on this occasion.
Yeah, we're staying green as you see the up and movers up and down the field. Harrington, the biggest mover so far with 13 places, and Andrich come from last to P13 so far. So good race out of everybody so far, and one of the best splits so far in this season.
So Adam Blocker still leads here at Texas. 80 to go when we get to the line, and he's just holding the inside line again. Marco Rally of Brazil gets shuffled backwards though. We've got a new driver in second place at least. Christopher Demerit goes through, being aided by Mark Murphy as well in the drafting stakes. And here we go on the front straight again. Can Christopher Demerit work out a different outcome this time?
It's going to be tough, and we know Demerit is a specialist on the super speedway, especially given the fact he drives for I5G, which we know is the Indianapolis 500 group. Therefore, they are specialists on the sort for that kind of stuff. We're going to look on the replay. What happened to Robin Glennox coming to turn number 1? Does he get shuffled out by? He gets shuffled out from what it looks like Mark Murphy, just the heavy draft that you get right in front, so washed out.
Yeah, maybe a couple of cars in front of him, a bit closer than he expected maybe, and that just understeered him into the wall, unfortunately. Now, Adam Blocker may well not lead a lap here. It's close over the line again, but Blocker will continue to lead. Marco Rally of Brazil has dropped back a little bit in these last couple of laps. He's gone from second now to 6th place. He's even being challenged by Connor Harrington now in the field.
Yeah, and I'm starting to wonder if the right front from Brazil actually just, starting to overheat a little bit, and the Brazilian has just decided to lift a little bit, save the amount of rubber he has left, because we saw him being aggressive, trying to do those overtakes, but it's so hard for you to do an overtake. We said this time and time again over here in Texas, nearly in contact with Burrell, from what it looks like Burrell, and then turning crash.
It was Connor Harrington who's in the wall.
Oh no.
Connor Harrington, after sticking back and keeping his cards close to his chest so far in the race, has gone into the wall hard, and that could be the end of his day. Our second caution of the evening comes at lap 49 as Connor Harrington hits the wall hard, and we will be back under yellow with Adam Blocker leading again, and what a shame that is for Connor Harrington.
Yeah, absolutely. He was staying quiet right there, and unfortunately for Connor, just got caught in the midst of, the mid-pack vortex that you would get with so many cars right in front of you, and Marco Rally is right beside you. We're probably going to look on the replay and see what happened here, Ewan.
We'll have a look in a few moments' time. The lead lap drivers, of course, will be down on pit lane very soon as well. Another 50 laps now complete. Well, not another 50 laps, but another 30 or so since we were last on pit lane. So yeah, slightly longer than the first green flag run we had. We'll be in again here for our second stops of the day. Everybody should be in here. And encouragingly as well, Lorenzo, we've still got 21 in the leading pack. And Connor Harrington has continued on. We'll hope to get some repairs after this into 1 and 2.
Yeah, we're going to look. Marco just gets washed out into turn number 1 by the draft of Orman and makes contact with Harrington. Couldn't lift and couldn't do anything with the, with the instruments to try to stay in that inside line. Unfortunate for the private label team hype driver.
A good avoidance from everyone to get around him. Now then, who will win the race off pit lane? It's going to be Adam Blocker again ahead of Christopher Demerit, then Mark Murphy. Jesper Roman will be next ahead of Marco Rally of Brazil, and so the top 5 again will stay pretty similar. Say someone we haven't spoken about so much today is the number 1 driver of Robert Malecka. He's now up to 6th place after that pit stop.
I think that is his highest position ever since the restart. The start of the race, because he was about like P4, dipped down a few positions, and couldn't get outside of the bottom half of the top 10 vortex. And we're going to look at him again, something with the Lennox coming out of turn number 1. I think that's the contact with Harrington. You can see it close.
Yeah, I'll tell you what else has happened actually. Blaise Andrick just had a 30-second pit stop in the last cycle. Not sure whether that was, well, what that was actually for the 24 driver, but 30 seconds down on pit lane to go with Connor Harrington's 24 seconds, and I'm surprised, by the way, that has dealt with all of Connor Harrington's damage. Surely he would have needed more than 24 seconds.
Yeah, unless it is something like, coming in hot or something like that, that would be the only logical reason. Now we're gonna look on the slow-mo here. You approach the car nearly 320 kilometers per hour, and you have to make a decision like that. It's not easy, I'll tell you that.
And yeah,
it's hard.
in that case, Rob didn't actually have to make an adjustment, did he? He didn't actually adjust his steering at all. It was almost like he wasn't there. But it's those split-second decisions to because he's made a conscious decision there not to steer out of the corner particularly, or steer into the car and so on. So that's what he's got to calculate. And as you say, such high speeds, such little time to do that, and could be disastrous consequences as well if you get it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to see, I think that was from Burrell or Nicholas Sudik's perspective as well. I think he was one of the first that kind of fell himself into the contact of Harrington and Brazil coming into turn number 2. So it's kind of interesting. I would like to see the perspective of other drivers, see how the decision making, what goes through their heads. But other than that, it's Texas, one of the, I would say, arguably with not Daytona, but with Indianapolis, probably the toughest track for you to do a split-second decision, just because pack racing just so fast, and it's so hard for you to do the right decision if you're going to crash or not.
It is. We've still got, as I say, 22 cars on the lead lap. Said 21 because I thought Con Harrington would fall off, but no. AJ Musselman is an official retirement. I do still see Seb Alexander receiving repairs, but he's already 34 laps down, so can't really see him re-emerging here tonight, unfortunately. We're under caution for the second time here at Texas. Adam Blocker leads from Christopher Demerit, Mark Murphy, Jesper Roman and Marco Aurelio Brazil, the top 5. Then it's Rob Maleczka, Kevin Burrow, Jacob Oster, Aaron McQuarrie and Nicholas Sudik, the top 10 here in this race. I mean, have we learned anything in these first 50 laps, Lorenzo, other than the fact that Adam Blocker is going to be very difficult to pass?
Not only that, I think we saw Brazil just being very aggressive whenever he actually falls into the pack and try to find line to do overtakes, and that aggressiveness has a price.
It certainly does. And Connor Harrington, thankfully, is at least in the race. What do you think his car is going to be handling like at this stage?
Sluggish.
It could be.
I have another word, but it's not PG-13.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. It's not universal approved.
No.
So we'll leave that one for later. Connor Harrington then will start from the very back of the field, but from the front, Adam Blocker will get us underway again. He started off very well, of course, at the actual start, although he was raced pretty hard by Jacob Oster into turn 1. He got us to an even better first restart of the evening. What about his second restart after 53 laps here at Texas? Still 72 to go as the green flag is back in the air. We're racing again. It's a similarly strong start from him, but behind, Robert Maleczka was very much on his toes as Marco Aurelio Brazil was caught sleeping there, really. Maleczka into the top 5 for the first time.
Yeah, not only that, Oster, I think, had a really good restart, nearly caught Burrell slipping as well.
Into 3 and 4 they go. There's a really obvious split in the field actually at the moment. Jack Maurer, the first of them in 13th place, to be on the wrong side of it. So we've got a 12-car leading group, and for some reason the mid-pack just went nowhere.
Yeah, but that's the accordion effect of, some drivers try to jump the gun whenever jump the gates whenever we get the restart, and this doesn't get the time right and splits the whole field.
Here goes Christopher Demerit off of 3 and 4 again, looking for that inside, can't find it, and so we'll have to go outside. It's 70 to go here at Texas. Round the outside through 1 and 2. Can he stay far enough alongside and get the run off the corner at the same time? Going to be difficult to do that with that line. He'll be dead even on the way to 3 and 4, but look at the lack of speed through there in the high line, just can't quite hang on to the lead, and here goes Mark Murphy looking to take back that second place.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Murphy is playing so well the game of riding the high line and coming into the underline and do that overtake, and the evolution from Mark Murphy these past 3 years following him into the leagues and everything, especially Lionheart, has been just nothing short of amazing, and seeing him facing everybody up in the front is so nice to see.
So nearly halfway here at Texas, and the question still remains here really, Lorenzo. Nobody can pass Adam Blocker, and as long as he holds on to that inside line, there doesn't seem to be a way around him. I don't see how they can uproot him from that low line.
No, that low line is going to be the overpowering line 99% of the time. I think only at the end of the race you might have to commit for something extra and get the run in, but other than that is just the way that things will go.
Mark Murphy can't find it there. Blocker making absolutely sure of it as well. He did hand the lead over to a couple of other drivers earlier on, by the way, but Blocker has been leading throughout the end of the first restart, right the way through that second green flag run of the race, and now into the third one as well. He's been leading pretty much constantly, although he's also been constantly challenged, but it doesn't appear to me as if anyone's learning anything here, learning a new way to go through. Everyone seems to know where you can pass and where you can't, and everyone knows that Adam Blocker is still the leader at this stage and will be for a while. Mark Murphy makes a good run off of 3 and 4 for the first time in a while. Can he get his nose alongside into 1 and 2? Yes, but he'll lose some speed into 1 and 2. That was a couple of drivers chasing each other up the hill there.
Yeah, that was Orman in Brazil just going far into the outside line of turn number 1 and 2, nearly blocking each other into the entry. That could have been very dangerous. Yellow flag.
Yellow flag out again, unfortunately, and it's Laura Gerhardt who's off the road. I think it's only hurt in the wall through maybe the exit of 2. Yeah, it was. And she's missing the front left sort of wing arrangement on that car. Are all the wheels pointing in the right direction?
I would say no.
Yeah.
Looks like I think the suspension might be slightly damaged.
Looks like we got... is that Rob Unglenex as well, just behind?
Yes.
How did he get a lap down? I don't remember that.
Isn't it because he actually got the damage and everything? He had to repair the damage on the side pod of his car? Just a wild guess. This is the wild guess.
I've got no idea how he ended up a lap down. Apologies for missing that, but he's also a lap down. Laura Gerhardt is not for the moment, but will get repairs here. Now, this is interesting. This is the shortest green flag run. Are we going to see pit stops? No, say the top 3. Yes, do some of the others. Jesper Oman, the first to come in. Robert Maletska and Jacob Oster still say no. So does Jack Mara, but a lot of the drivers come in. Now, this is where the race gets interesting.
Yeah. Now we're going to see the split of the field, and we're going to, of course, see Brazil, Orman, Corey, and everybody else being shuffled out behind, but they're going to have better run off the gate, and we can normally expect these drivers after the third lap to, just cruise on by, but everybody else up in the front, so that opens up the door for everybody else in the front, like from Harrington onwards to be on the back burner. And talking about Quaner, he's in 7th place.
Yeah, so he didn't pit there either, and that's the top 7 who haven't pitted. Jesper Oman gets out ahead as first of those who has. Laura Gerhardt having to stay in the pit lane for quite a long time. And actually, this is the longest stop of anyone who's still in the race, with AJ Musselman and Seb Alexander both retired. 45-second stop is the longest. This is what happened through 1 and 2. Looks like it may have been a dropping on her own. It was indeed just a fairly innocuous hit on the wall. That won't have done a horrendous amount of damage. And she should still be in the race and on the lead lap after this stop, although she needs to get out pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think the pit stop for her is going to be over a minute, because I think she has something else other than the wing. I would say suspension might be the thing, side pod might be the thing as well. So she's going to be a lap down for sure. Unfortunate for the German driver, but that's just how the hard nature of trackers, Texas, can sometimes bite on the drivers.
Unfortunately, that's given us 2 cars now, 1 lap down. Still 20 on the lead lap now, as Robert Unglenex makes his way up to 21st with that incident, unfortunately. Now then, so 12 laps older tyres for the top 7. How much difference is that really going to make?
Ooh. I would say for Blocker, it's not going to change a thing at all, because he's maintaining the inside line, which there's a really good comment on YouTube. This is the IRL, so the real life drivers also use this inside line, because it is just the lower banking is the last traveled line, so it's better and it has a lot of grip, therefore it makes it easier So that's why it's going to be interesting for these guys to go, I would say, from Murphy to the back, all the way back to Orman. Good luck.
It's going to be interesting. There they are in the mid-pack. Some of them for the first time today, actually. They found themselves in the mid-pack. The likes of Marco Aurelio Brazil hasn't really been below 6th place all day long, as Robert Malecka comes in the second time round. So he's going to the very back of the field. What a bizarre call that is.
Not even surprised. I think this is it might be not the bad decision at this point of the race. You're nearly halfway mark, and you want to stretch yourselves the best you can with fuel. So you're already probably going to be at back. So what's the point of being a few positions more in the back of the field?
Well, I get that for some of those further back, yeah, but for Malecka, who was running in the top 5, that's a bizarre one to me, but he's out 16th. Hamilton Akabuezi also came in, along with Rashad Craig, Matt Taylor, Olivia Hayward, of those on the lead lap, along with Robin Glenix, which you'd expect. And Laura Gerhardt, unfortunately, has gone 2 laps down now with fairly heavy repairs. It's so bizarre that her repairs have been longer than Connor Harrington's, but maybe she's just not re-emerging for the race here today, I wonder. 60 laps here to go, and now 6 cars on older tyres out front. We'll see how those are affected when we go restart here.
Absolutely. I would say look for maybe Murphy to be more aggressive out of the bunch and try to get that position as fast as he can from block here on this restart, Ewan.
Let's see as the pace car pulls down low, and we're ready to go again. 60 to go, the second half of the race here at Texas. Green flag in hand, and we are racing again for round 8 of the IndyCar Open Series. It's single file over the start. In fact, no close moments anywhere down the field on this occasion. It's the cleanest restart of them all. And now we get to see whether Jesper Orman and everyone else on those newer tyres can start to make some moves.
Yeah, Orman I can already see being on the inside line of Sudik, so he's going to make moves immediately. You can see the number 5 making that move in Brazil right now. Is there for Orman looking for positions up and up and up, so it's going to be that frantic race of just trying to match whatever the guys in front are doing and do not get worried on the back. Murphy still trying to go for the lead,
still banging his head on this brick wall that is still not falling down for him at the moment. The brick wall being Adam Blocker, and it's not falling down because he's still not in the race lead. Outside again, as it's a very spread out restart once again. It's like the second one that we saw. Blocker got off to a great restart and really spread out the field. I mean, look at the spread there. Lots of gaps further back in the field, but I guess that's what I expected towards the end as well. Top 4 are very close together though, and you'd imagine some of the others will catch up soon.
Yeah, I would imagine Mara Harrington and Orman coming up in the next few laps. The problem is Brazil is just being very aggressive, trying to take the position away from Orman. It's kind of like impeding the momentum out of the EDMI's racing driver, and that's probably causing more trouble than he wanted to in this restart.
Side by side for third, at least, here with Jacob Oster and Christopher Demerit. And it's side by side for first at the same time. 2 wide in 2 battles at the same time into 1 and 2. And the very high line taken by Demerit as he searches for the positions. Can't find them though. They'll get back single file again. And notably, none of those new tyre runners have found any places yet.
No, they're going to struggle a little bit with Ashley because, like I said, this is pack racing, and so those old tires still have some life left in them. But expect maybe if we get a really good green lap as we see Gerhardt coming out of the pit lane, this is good news, Ewan, to maybe be stronger towards the end portion of the stint.
Well, when is that stint going to be, and
yeah,
at what point are the pit stops going to come here for these guys? That's a nice run around the outside for Mark Murphy just as the caution comes out. That's a frustrating one for the driver of the 8 car, who I thought really had a go there. Hamilton Akabuezi is the one who's brought out the caution here and may well become our 5th driver, at least a lap down in this race. There he is. Oh, he doesn't seem to be too damaged actually, but he's certainly gone around.
Yeah, certainly got around. There is some damage from what it looks like on the front left of that car, so not looking overly healthy, and I think the wheel is not fully straight.
don't look too bad. But that's, of course, it could be internal and so on. So we'll see here. Now, does Alan Blocker come in here? Because he might be only one of 6 drivers to make the trip down pit lane, and that would be a change in the race situation. And here we go. So just over 50 to go.
Okay.
Blocker's in. So's Murphy. But Christopher Demerick hangs on. So does Jacob Oster. Connor Harrington stays out, but the others are in as well, despite only being in, 9 laps ago? Most of the field are in.
I like what they're cooking. I really do like what the FFG people and what the private label team hype guys are cooking right here, man. I think they're banning this maybe on a yellow run and easing up their job to coming into the pit lane and having a more clean green flag run whenever this restarts.
So you don't think they're going to come in again at all?
Yeah, and also puts the pressure on Blocker now.
Yeah, I mean, the call that's strange to me is those who came in 9 laps ago. Why on earth are they in?
I would say maybe within the same amount of quota. I was going to look at the replay what happened to a Kabwezi. Oh, contact with Gerhard. Who actually made contact with Gerhard? What on earth?
What on earth happened there? Someone in the field, well, didn't really make contact with Laura Gerhardt, who was staying quite adequately out the way, I would describe it as, but got clipped anyway. I can't work out who that was, but
same.
Akaboise was the one on the receipt. That's so unfortunate. No fault of anyone's really, but Akaboise is out of the running as a result.
Yeah, that was really weird. I want to say this might be on Glenix again.
Is that him?
It is.
He's driving a white car.
It is in Glenix.
But I mean, the space he left Laura Gerhardt there was humongous, and she left everyone plenty of space as well. But unfortunately, she's been clipped and spun around in front of the field. Here's an on-board view from him. What is it? Is it him? Oh, so it says to the inside. There's space, and look at the gap there. That's well, wide, put it that way. So that's no fault of anybody's really.
No, not at all. We normally see amounts of air whenever there is contact here. Even at race spot, I think we can say there was lots of air.
You could have driven a bus in that gap.
Precisely.
Here's the view from Akaboise. There's just no time to react to this.
No. And the worst is it clips you on the rear left. So whenever it clips you on the rear, you're already long gone.
And that may be contributing to the long stop as well. Nearly 3 minutes in the lane now, and Laura Gerhardt is into the pit lane. And, probably feeling a little bit bad about that, I would imagine, even though it wasn't really anyone's fault. Now Tarakaboise also off the lead lap now, so we've got 19 still there, which is good, and you've got to say that anyone on the lead lap at this point is in contention.
Yeah, 100%. I think we are in a point of a race of so much uncertainty because we have 3 different stints so far. Yep. We have the Merritt, Oster, and Harrington with 23 laps, 24, of course. They're going to cross the line. You have Simoneau, which is on 12 laps. And then you have everybody else who just pitted in the lap before. So, in 2 laps prior. So, how do you negotiate this restart? Because I think one thing we'll know for a fact, if Simoneau has a well set up car, he's going to stay with this pack. But the thing is, if he doesn't, he's going to get swollen whole by the entirety of the pack. And whenever you get swollen whole, it's not pretty. And it opens up the door for more yellows. So looking forward to see this 3rd restart of the race.
4th, I think. Although I'm starting to lose count.
Yeah.
And there's the visual representation of just what you're talking about there on the left-hand side. Demerit, Oster and Harrington with twice the amount of laps that Simoneau, and he has 6 times the amount of laps as everybody else, although that doesn't really matter because they're basically brand new tyres for everyone who's just come in.
Yep. Now we're probably going to see definitely going to see communications between the FFG drivers of Oster and the Merritt, try to negotiate the lines and try to keep everybody else in the back at bay, but the question is for how long they will keep them at bay.
Yeah, 50 to go here at Texas, and for the first time, it's not Adam Blocker who will be getting us underway for another restart. It'll be Christopher Demerit here with Jacob Oster and Connor Harrington right behind on that same strategy, looking to get us underway again here. Green flag is in hand, and we are racing again at Texas, and it's a much more packed up field this time. Robert Malechka going side by side with Mark Aurelio Brazil, who got a great jump off that restart.
Yeah, nearly making it 3 wide with Murphy, because Murphy didn't have a great restart either. So looking forward to see how this develops. And now you can see Simino kind of like, you would say, holding the pack of sorts, coming to turn number 3.
And he's already let Adam Blocker down the inside, so not holding the pack for very long. He's up on the high side now on these older tyres. Needed to protect that inside line for a lot longer than he ended up doing. And here goes Adam Blocker on the inside. Just on behind, it is Jesper Oman and Mark Murphy who are looking to make their mark as well. Blocker hasn't managed it, and here goes Oman.
Here comes Orman, and things get more interesting. Oh, nearly blocking line of Blocker inside of number 4.
Wow, that was close. Jesper Oman up to 5th place in the 5 car, and now Adam Blocker is forced to race and under pressure for the first time. This is interesting. This is now a dynamic race, and the caution has finally split this race open. We've got an interesting one here in the final 50 laps or so. Here at Texas, it's Christopher Demerit currently leading, but can these guys hang on the older tyres?
Yeah, that's the real question. Not only that, do they have the field to match to the end of this race? Are they coming with more yellows? How this is developing? Alan Blocker on the outside. You can see Harrington nearly clipping the inside of the apron on turn number 2, but surviving at the end of the ordeal.
And Blocker and Oman still battling here. They can't get past Simino as of right now, but they can get past one another. Here goes Blocker on Simino. Didn't think that inside line was going to be available to him. Eventually gets there through 1 and 2. He's enjoyed that low line all day long, and he looks to get through. No, he's going to skate up the racetrack, and suddenly in the pack, his car not looking so strong.
And he's not looking really good, but I think it was given the fact that you have Carrington right in front of you providing dirty air into the entry of turn number 2, and because this made Blocker lose momentum, it opens the door for Simino to run away a little bit.
By the way, as you can see on your screen, the top 10 are getting away, and Kevin Burrell is part of it, and we're talking about him for the first time here tonight. He's been very quiet as he tries to chase down Adam Blocker in the championship stakes. In the IndyCar Open Championship, in the IndyCar Open Series, I should say. Adam Blocker now back to 5th again, ahead of Oman. Then it's Mark Murphy, Robert Malechka, Mark Aurelio Brazil, and Kevin Burrell. Those are all on the newer tyres, but right now they've not made much of a difference on them.
No, not at all. I think everybody's matched up evenly at this point of the race. You can see now Blaise Andrich coming into P12, so 12 spots gains for him, even though he's switching spots with Sudike and McCrory switching with Craig as well. Things are getting more dynamic, and now we're going to see this race flow more and more and more.
We are. Let's see this race flow fantastically, hopefully. Right around the outside goes Adam Blocker. Here we go.
Genius.
Olivier Simino has to give it up. And here goes Jesper Oman as well. It'll be the inside of 3 and 4. Oman will look to follow Blocker.
No, absolutely, but that was well worked by Blocker. Just made Simino go into a line that would made him lose momentum. The middle line is not really good for you to get a run out. So Blocker now has 3 cars to fend off. He has 1 private label team hype and 2 i5Gs.
Well, here we go. Now this is getting interesting. Those on the very oldest tyres against those on the newest, with over 40 to go here tonight. 75 laps is what's needed out of these tyres and the fuel tank as well from these leading 3 drivers, by the way, as Adam Blocker tries to take that 3rd place away from Harrington, and is even able to dive below him into turn 1 and 2.
I think maybe Harrington just playing the coy game, since his car has some slight damage, to try to keep himself in the best of his capabilities in this field. Don't know if the car is fully repaired as well. We know repairs are now fully capable of repairing damages and everything. So how does this operate on Harrington's car?
Malechka and Simino also going side by side. It looks like Olivier Simino, unfortunately, is suffering a little bit now in the pack and getting shuffled on further back. But this is the interesting fight. Demerit, Oster and Blocker all looking for the race win at Texas. Over the line, 39 to go. We're getting down to the business end, the final 60 miles of this race tonight. And here goes Adam Blocker. He'll be in the wheel tracks of Demerit, though. That's going to be going nowhere for him.
No, and now you're going to see the communication between both I5Gs, catching the lines. They're going to make probably Blocker run that middle line the entirety of the day. He's going to enter the middle line. Once he gets a really good run on Oster, and he actually phases out on the outside, he can actually contend.
And there we go. There's the middle line with no dirty air in front of him. Demerit on the low side. He's gone through, although Oster gets a good run, very good run into 3 and 4.
But he gets slightly washed out by his teammate, and that's natural. Nothing much he can do right there.
And here goes Demerit now, trying to defend from Adam Blocker. The run to the front of the field from the long-time race leader, showing that not only can he defend from the front, he can come from behind and overtake as well.
And now that's going to get more interesting, because Demerit has only one line to go. He has one line available to him. That's that inside line. If he sticks to that inside line the entire time for 37 laps, we have a race.
Here we go. 3 wide, very nearly. Oster was looking for 3 wide anyway as Blocker searched up high with Demerit. Does the 2-car need to defend? Not just yet. And Mark Murphy looks to be getting through on Connor Harrington here. So
he does.
If Blocker wants to make this work, he needs to do it all quickly.
Yeah, I think Murphy's getting some ground right there near contact between them coming to turn number 1.
Here we go again. It's almost like watching a replay all over again. Blocker has to tuck back in again, and Harrington giving Murphy a bit more of a tough challenge here. Murphy's going to get the run on the exit there, and he should be fine for 4th. But how long is it going to take him to get here? How long is it going to take Blocker to get through to the lead, if he can at all?
Yeah, if you can at all, as we see a car in the pit lane, that's Sudai coming into the pit lane, so something has happened to him. And we know the rivalry, right, Ewan? The legendary rivalry between Blocker and i5G drivers and Powerslide and i5G, so all things are going to be left out in the field, and they have to be fair and square and everything, all in the chance to win a race.
Just 18 on the lead lap now, with tyre differences everywhere, of course. 50 miles now still to go here tonight. Blocker looks for the outside again. Does he have to tuck back in, though? He does. He doesn't seem to want to really use that outside, or that middle line, just to run right the way through the corner. He seems to back out of it halfway through.
Yeah, but that's the thing he has to do, just to try to conserve a little bit of the rubber in his Firestone Firehawks to survive the ordeal in the long run. He gets a really good run on the outside, but he's gonna try to to the best of his abilities, the middle outside line, and have a really good run on the outside, maximizing everything out of it. Meanwhile, Murphy, watch him. He's coming in from P4 all the way to P3 with a very fast pace.
And he's on those newer tyres, of course. 24 laps difference, or 22 laps difference, excuse me, between Demerit, Oster and Harrington's tyres compared to Blocker and Murphy's. And at the moment, it doesn't really look like it. Is that effect only going to level out more, or are we going to see those tyres really fall away for those 3 in the next laps?
Yeah, which is the interesting topic to talk about. I think Demerit, for now, he's trying to do, like I said before, prior to this restart, is holding to the best of his capabilities for a restart. They need probably a yellow flag here, Ewan. I don't think they can make it on field. I see Matt Pavelski mentioned this on our YouTube chat. Actually, Brophy did mention this on our YouTube chat. They cannot make it on field, they think. So let's looking forward to see that.
Here's Oster on the inside. Adam Blocker, this wasn't in the script for him. He's going to go around the outside, though, through 3 and 4. And that is all okay for Adam Blocker, because he's just going to stay alongside. And no, he'll back out and get 3rd now. So here's Mark Murphy. What can he do? These two fighting, of those on the newer tyres, fighting for that first position out the 2 of them. That could be very important by the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely, as now opens the door for Murphy to contend with 3rd place as well. This is fair racing, so what can Blocker do at this time in moment to defend off the number 8 of Mark Murphy?
As the 2 in front go side by side, Demerit and Oster for the lead. It's Murphy searching higher than almost anybody else can on this racetrack. Can't do it there. Robert Maletska up to 5th place. He's having a decent run here, despite making that rather bizarre pit stop a couple of cautions ago. He's back inside the top 5, and here goes Mark Murphy. What a run round the outside that is, as Blocker maybe got washed out by the aero push through 3 and 4. Here goes Murphy for 3rd place.
Oh, but he's going to get that run on the outside. He's setting him up. You know, he's trying to get that run on the inside of blocker. No, he doesn't. So he's going to stay on the outside for one more lap. But Murphy is cooking. Murphy got it. Murphy got it.
There he is, into third. Mark Murphy, all of a sudden, is through into third position ahead of Adam Blocker, Robert Maleczka and Jesper Ohman. Those are the ones who are on the newer tyres at the moment, with Christopher Demerit and Jacob Oster still leading with 26 to go. We're getting really down to the business end now, less than 40 miles left.
Yeah, less than 40 miles left. This is going to get crazy. I don't think Murphy has the pace to try to come closer. I think what Murphy might do in this instance over here, I think he's going to kind of like tow blocker into this top two battle, if you want to call it a battle of sorts, and see where it leads them at the end. I think they're conserving tires for this time of the moment, and maybe for the final 10, 12, 15 something laps to go on and straight attack the FFG drivers.
Unfortunately, ours caution's out. We've got a yellow.
Oh boy.
And here we go. We've got a yellow out on the racetrack. We've had 3 retirements, by the way, and there's one of the culprits, maybe. Oh dear. And there's another.
Oh dear. Simino.
Aaron McCurry.
Yeah. I thought it was Simino because of the paint.
They do seem to have the same or very similar paint. If that is indeed correct. Yeah, it is Aaron McCurry, who's up at a steady time in the morning. Not sure why, but I am too, so there we are. He'll be making his way to the pit lane, and we will have another caution. Now, over 50 laps on these tyres. Surely the top 2 will be in, but what does everyone else do?
I don't think they're going... They're going in.
Let's see. Demerit and Oster are in.
Yeah, everybody is.
Murphy is in. Oh, Blocker was doing exactly what Murphy did there, pretty much. He saw Murphy was in and so decided at the very last possible second to make the dive down pit lane. It seems that everyone on the lead lap is going to go around, or go into pit lane, excuse me, and get themselves 4 fresh tyres for the 30-mile run to the flag, which is what this is going to be. As we're watching that, let's see what happened to bring this caution out.
Outside run for McQuarrie for the Scour's driver, and he makes contact with Glenix right there, and one more.
Wow. Maybe Dimino was one of the others involved.
I think it was James Allen, maybe.
James Allen, not sure. Yeah, I think you might be right. James Allen might be one of them involved, and he's out of the race, by the way, right now. Christopher Demerit does make it out first, by the way. Adam Blocker loses a place to Jesper Ohman, is now 5th.
Well, if you like racing, ladies and gentlemen, I would suggest to stay seated. This is going to get real interesting as we look another angle on the replay between what happened to them.
Oh my goodness.
Ow.
It's a very rough time of things there, unfortunately, for those caught up in that accident. The first multi-car, it was James Allen, you were right. One of the first multi-car incidents we've seen involving more than 2 cars actually today. Hopefully it's the last one and we get a nice green flag run to the end here.
Oh, you jinxed it.
Just said, I hope we do.
Same. Because we know what's going to happen over here, right, Ewan? We know, right? You know what's going to happen.
Well, let's see what happens. There's still plenty of time for more cautions and still a green flag run to the end, so you know we can hold out and hope here for this one. 15 drivers still on the lead lap here, by the way. Robert still 1 lap down. Aaron McQuarrie may not return. James Allen is a retirement. Olivia Hayward unfortunately had an internet dropout during that last run and so is retired from this race. And Nicholas Sudik is gone too, along with Howard Shadaka Boise out of the race. So plenty of retirements now. We're really getting to the end of this one.
Yeah, I was wondering how many people were on the lead lap last time by? We actually
last time about 20, 21.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, about 4 of them were out in that last accident, so
yeah.
So that doesn't help at all. Dustin Norris making the joke that he's bought a whole seat, but he's only needing the edge of it, and you certainly will do for the next 20 laps or so when we go back green again. This is going to be exciting, but are we just going to see Christopher Demerit defend for the win here and successfully so as well? Because, well, Adam Blocker was able to do it yesterday, but was that just because of the circuit in these cars, or was it because it was Adam Blocker being able to do that?
Not everybody can do that. If you have a car that work the tools and everything, you can hang that inside line for days. They do that in the real life as well. So and we know i5G drivers, they have set up for days on that car for this track specifically. So we can definitely see something real funny for them whenever we get our restart. The question is Murphy and Orman out of the gates. How do they fare against the i5G?
That is the big question at this stage. We'll see what we're going to see here off of the restart. It will be 20 to go when we get there. And just how crazy is this restart going to be? What are we going to see when we go back green flag running here once again? Is this even going to be the final caution of the day? All of those questions still yet to be determined. How far can we go here down the field before we say, you're not in contention anymore, you're too far back at this stage?
Depends. I would say 8 laps.
Okay. Well, let's see how far the race winner comes back from. Will it be Christopher Demerit from the very front? Will it be someone else coming out of the woodworks here? Well, not long to find out. The cars are up high on the banking, up right close to the wall through 3 and 4. Not something you often see, but for this restart, very important for Christopher Demerit to get that real ramp off the top side and get us back underway with the green flag in hand. 30 miles to go at Texas. We're racing again, and Christopher Demerit has 20 laps to hold on to this race win.
And to make things more nerve-wracking, Murphy having connection problems.
Not a good restart and not a good time to have them, but it's been a great start for these two out front. Demerit and Oster out front on their own, and they're side by side through 3 and 4 as well. Nice run through 3 and 4 for Oster.
Yeah, now you can see Orman coming into P3, and he's going to use his fresh rubber to attack the gates out of everybody else and blocking the lines out of Murphy into turn number 2.
Our blocker has been washed up through the racetrack there, and Robert Milecka will now go through. It will be side by side for 5th place between the two of them as the two leaders go for it again. Can Milecka go through? Not quite. It looks like Blocker has got the run off the top side there and will go through. And so here's Jesper Roman looking for the move. They're all on fresh tyres, of course, all towards the end of the race, all looking for this race win.
Yeah, and he also has to do something different because he has teammates right in front, and it's the worst thing for you to. It's bad for you to overtake one car. Now, overtaking 2 cars from the same team just make things more nerve-wracking and complicated for you to accomplish.
And he's seen the track block as well once again. That makes it even more difficult. When the two leaders are going side by side and you're in third, there's not much you can do.
Especially when you're riding the optimal lines.
Yeah, he's just straight in the wheel tracks of those in front. And there again, look at how high he's going through 3 and 4. Maybe this will work. Up very high for Roman. Here goes Robert Milecka, who's gotten through on Mark Murphy as well. He'll go 3 wide to the very low side, but knows that he'll get the dirty air and the aero push on that low side of Christopher Demerit, who still holds on to this race lead. And he's done very well to defend so far.
Absolutely, and you can see the line of Orman outside once again, and he can ride that line pretty much cleanly and work things out. Nearly 3 wide contact nearly between teammates.
Now this is the end of the race. This is the end game, and the aggression has just switched up. Oof. Robert Milecka gets so close to Jesper Roman.
Near contact, and that would have ended everything.
That would have, yes. Adam Blocker goes to the inside and picks up the pieces. He gets to 4th now as the top 3 are still in the same places. They started this restart. They're going 3 wide again for the first time really all day. Now we're really starting to see the battles. Adam Blocker through to the inside, and he goes through the middle to 2nd place briefly.
What a move from Blocker, and things have opened up. The seas have opened up on the inside. Here's Milecka.
Milecka goes for it. Contact between Oman and Blocker as Jesper Oman has just gone backwards again and again here in this field. Here goes Robert Milecka now on the high side, and Adam Blocker to the inside. We're 4 wide into 1 and 2. Oh my goodness. Christopher Demerit hangs on again, but Adam Blocker is still finding a way to get to the inside, but he very nearly managed it there with 13 to go.
How did they not crash? How?
That was unbelievable. Adam Blocker may well do it again here. 3 wide in front of him. Is he going to search again? Christopher Demerit now knows what he's going to do, and that's the disadvantage here. Can Blocker ever do that again with Demerit knowing what's gone previous?
Oh, but let's just pulling a power move right there. You know, it takes the line away from Oster. Teammates working together on everything. Now you have a sandwich of I5G and Power Slide working with 12 to go here.
This is an unbelievable leading group now, with Adam Blocker still searching for that avenue to the inside line. This is close. Christopher Demerit there briefly lost his race lead to Robert Maleczka, who's on the outside again. But Christopher Demerit hangs on again. And here goes Jacob Oster to the inside. Very close to contact for them.
Yeah, I think it touched the side pods a little bit, but made clean and skated in. And just things getting, you know, I'm scared. I'm really scared. I'm seeing a yellow flag over here with like 8.544 to go.
Maleczka there squeezes Demerit as much as possible, goes up the hill now. Is he far enough alongside to really make this work? It's the big challenge for the race lead. Just as much as you can on the outside here. And now Jacob Oster looks to go through the middle maybe. Go to the inside, maybe the outside. That's for Adam Blocker, who will make it 3 wide again.
And he's going to get a mega run outside, coming outside of turn number 2, so you can actually try to work something out and say that on that outside line. He's going to overtake Maleczka 100%. The thing is, how does he work? Near contact between him and Maleczka.
Maleczka was very tight on the way through 3 and 4 there, and here goes Adam Blocker. He's led the most laps today. Now looking for the race win to go with it. Into 1 and 2, he's on the outside again. That's going to be a long way round, and he can't do it. Demerit still holds the inside and has to defend again.
It has to defend. This is the game for Demerit. Stay on that inside line. That inside line is strong. You can ride it and win it. The thing is, can he hold Blocker at the line?
There was the gap. It was about 100th with 3 wide again. Over the 1 and 2. Blocker stays very low there. Squeezes Demerit as much as possible. Can he get the run as well?
There's a run.
Doesn't look like it. He's close. Maleczka's going to go for this as well, with Jacob Oster looking to pick up the pieces wherever he can. 3 wide they are for the lead. Maleczka looking for the outside. Is there going to be enough to get there at the line? He's not quite going to get there. He needs to find a way past.
And he's going to stick to that middle line the entire time. The thing is, what does Ormond Oster do? Near contact between Ormond and Oster. Oster has to lift back.
Defense again from Demerit, who's squeezed all the way into 3 and 4. Try and compromise that line. Blocker gets back in behind again with 5 to go. Where does he find this move?
I think this move is done with 2 to go, maybe.
If he can get through there, then he'll be in the money. But can we get there? It's a very close moment between Oman and Oster again, as Jesper Oman uses that run to go down the inside of Robert Maleczka for 3rd.
And you can see Blocker trying to find the line a little bit of the merit to try to get a little bit of a run. He's going to stay side by side, coming into 4 to go over here even. And he's going to ride that middle line again and taking the momentum out of the in the Alliance Racing driver of Ormond.
Watching a replay all over again. Demerit going, oh, that was a big save from Marco Aurelio Brazil. What a save. We'll stay green with 3 to go at the line.
How?
Very good save. Had to lock up the brakes, of course, as well, and drops outside the top 10, but we are green. Here goes Maleczka. He's on the inside at 1 and 2, and he might just have this. He's got a very tight line, though, and Demerit will hang on. Adam Blocker now with the run, searching for the inside, can't quite do it. Maybe that was Maleczka's chance.
That was Maleczka's chance, and also Blocker's chance of sort of
contact, and through goes Jacob Oster. Contact between Demerit and Blocker leaves Jacob Oster in the lead, and Maleczka with another chance. He dives to the inside for the 2nd lap in a row.
Oh my, I'm speechless. I'll just let you take over.
This is unbelievable. Insane. With a lap and a half to go. Robert Maleczka and Jacob Oster are fighting tooth and nail for this one. They'll chase each other up the racetrack. Here comes Adam Blocker. It will be 3 wide over the line. The white flag is out. One to go here at Texas. Who's going to take this? It could be any of the front five right now. Robert Maleczka holds the all-important inside line, but
Contact.
for how long here? Slight contact with the wall. We stay green for the end here. Jacob Oster's going to the high side. Adam Blocker goes free wide. Surely he can't steal this at the end. Robert Maleczka with the inside line is going to take it. He wins at Texas in the iRacing IndyCar Open Series by 0.5 of a second, with some daring, brave moves at the inside of 1 and 2. Wins him this race at Texas.
Wow, what a race. What a race, man. And Texas deliver, man. This is why I love Texas. Texas always delivers. Whenever you have this kind of really good racing, close racing between everybody, and respectful, aggressive but respectful, you get these race, man. And I love it. What a move from Maleczka. You know, decisive, powerful, and he gets the win. Well earned.
Just when you thought the race leader was going to block the inside again, and take the win eventually, we proved wrong. Robert Maleczka, with some daring moves on the inside, takes the win, and a deserved one as well. But what great racing between those front five especially.
Oh, man, the race between Blocker, Oster, Maleczka, and Norman, that was insane. That was probably one of the best, you know, elbows out, fair fight between drivers in a speedway, if you ever seen one. I love it. I really love it.
Fantastic racing. Let's take a look at your results after 125 laps of racing here tonight in round 8 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Series. Nearly 200 miles of racing came down to the very final laps. A 3-wide finish, the top 4 covered by less than 1/10 of a second. A wonderful race here to mark our return to ovals here on RaceSpotTV. Certainly in this series. I know we had a US 500, but this has been the first in the series. And now very much looking forward to Nashville and Pocono, which surely are going to be exciting as well.
It's gonna be quite interesting. Nashville does ride, it's a super speedway, but it doesn't have the flow of the super speedway because the washout power is much stronger than here in Texas. Air is life in there. Pocono is the same thing, but it can have a really good race. But looking forward to see the super speedways.
Yeah, we certainly are. Because they're coming up in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks for Nashville, another 2 weeks after that for Pocono. And so, we are looking forward to that. In between times, we'll be at Belle Isle next week and Montreal as well, of course. Still waiting for the results here, by the way. I'd like to chat you through them, but we'll wait for them to be pulled up when we get there, and then we'll have a chat to, at the very least, Robert Maleczka and Adam Blocker, but hopefully we'll get Jacob Oster to join us as well and tell us about that those final laps. So looks like we will get that. So hopefully we can enjoy those. While we're waiting for the results, we'll just chat to the drivers anyway. Rob Maleczka joins us now. Welcome in, Robert. Good to have you with us, and congratulations on the race win. Tell us about those final few laps from your perspective.
Yeah, it was really just about kind of getting past the I5G guys. It seemed like they could really hold the bottom quite a bit better than us, but I think we had a bit better top end. Just trying to work with Adam there to get as big of a run as we could to get by Chris there. And, I think with like 6 or 7 to go, came up with a plan with me kind of diving and blow inside into 1 and then compromising his exit so Adam could possibly get a run off. But that didn't work. Chris did a great job there. And then whatever happened with 3 to 4 to go, I think Chris and Adam just barely touched. Jacob and I got a massive run on the front straight. I was able to deke Jacob low. And got the inside line, which was preferred. And once I kind of knew I got down there, once I get a lap down there, I knew, that's all I had to do was defend the inside, and paid out in my favor.
I mean, I was watching a lot of that race. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs that you do, but I was watching a lot of that race thinking, how are those behind the leader ever going to get to the inside of said leader? Whether that was Adam Blocker at the front for a while, it was Christopher Demerit for a long portion of the final green flag run as well. What were you thinking about your avenues to the inside? Surely you must have, well, obviously finding it difficult as well. What were you thinking about ways of winning this race? How did you think you were going to achieve it compared to how you actually managed it?
Yeah, the plan really was to get a big enough run to go outside of Chris there, and at least be a bit ahead going into turn one to the point where I can kind of pack some dirty air onto his front wing, so he would have to lift in the middle of the corner. Because that's really all you can do with trying to get by these guys that are just elite at kind of running the bottom and know the games. But yeah, I mean, I think myself and Jacob got extremely lucky that Chris had a bit of a bobble there, and we were able to capitalize and get the win there.
And through the first part of the race, we didn't talk about you very much. What was your plan very early?
So we kind of learned with the fixed series a few weeks ago that the tires really degrade here. We're talking about possibly, after 50 laps, blowing a right front tire. So my whole game plan, that whole, 110 laps or so, I was just kind of riding map 5, minding my own business, taking care of the right front, and hoping, once we get a long run, I would be able to kind of cruise through the field and get up to the top 3. We never got that, but I think we got a good mix of short and kind of long run there. But yeah, just riding around, minding my own business and getting ready to pounce at the end.
Well, congratulations on the race win tonight, Robert. Great to chat to you once again, and thanks again. Congratulations.
Yep, thanks, mate. Take care.
Thanks very much, Robert Malecka there, the race winner tonight here at Texas. Let's take a look at those results for you after 125 laps, and great racing as well. It was Malecka who ended up taking the race win. Oster, Blocker and Demerit all covered by a tenth of a second. A nice run for the 5 car of Jesper Roman to end up 5th in that race. Kevin Burrell didn't get talked about very much and probably would have hoped for a better result, but 6th place still okay for him. Mark Murphy finishes 7th ahead of Connor Harrington, who recovered from big contact at turn 2 to finish 8th. Russell Craig and Matt Taylor rounded out the top 10. In 11th place, we saw Mark Aurelio Brazil, and with a big save off of turn 2 towards the end, it was Andrew Marquez in at 12th place, and Jack Mara. Place Andricht and Olivier at Simonu were the final drivers to finish on the lead lap. Rob Unglinix did get to the end in 16th. Olivia Hayward did get to the end in 17th. That's the lead despite being 9 laps down. James Allen, Alan McCurry, Nicholas Sudik, along with Hamilton Nakabuese, Laura Gerhardt, Adrian Musselman and Seb Alexander all failed to see the checkered flag at the end of the day. So, a shame for them to have dropped out of the race, but some great results further afield. Jacob Oster got one of those as well, and he joins us now too. Welcome in, Jacob. Good to have you with us as well. Second place for you today, half a tenth off of the lead. Just tell us about those final few laps.
Those were a lot of fun. This is a good showing of what this car is capable of in the correct hands. It's a bare knuckle brawl, really, and it's pretty close.
Yeah, this is the first, of course, time slot for this race of the week. What I mean by that is that people don't have a particular experience with doing it this week, as you might do in other broadcasted races. What was the expectation for a green flag run to the end? Did you think you were ever going to get racing like that for 20 green flag laps at the end of the race?
Chris and I were on a similar strategy there. We had to catch a caution, and we definitely were expecting. We knew we were talking about the restarts. We had to just defend very heavily, because we had done a fixed here a couple of weeks ago and had the same thing happen, where a late race run, you have to defend because it's going to be everybody on top of each other going for the win, and you can use all the lanes here, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, it was very exciting racing indeed. Jacob, thanks for coming to chat to us, and congratulations on second tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Jacob us to their second place here tonight, ahead of Adam Blocker, who ended up third. We can chat to him also. Welcome in, Adam. Good to have you with us. Third place here today after leading a lot of the laps. Are you disappointed or pleased with that result?
I mean, yeah, it's a bit mixed because definitely, if it would have been a more straightforward race in terms of the yellows at the end, obviously had a really good chance to win if I had been able to keep the lead. But with how many yellows we got there at the end, it's you kind of always have to act like this caution is going to be the last caution, just in case you get caught out. Especially me, like racing for points, I can't afford to take kind of the risk that Chris and Jacob did, because if we had gone green from the lap 52 or 52 to go caution, they would have had to pit and they would have finished a lap down. So, but yeah, I mean, just at the end, I was happy to survive and like just be fighting for the win. It was so much fun. I don't know how we didn't crash multiple times. We were all just, racing the actual, like just racing so aggressive, bullying each other basically. It was crazy.
Yeah, because going into this topic, and it's actually my question. You guys are going 4 wide, splitting the lanes and kind of pushing the Marriott and Oscar out. Was that planned? Did you guys, I'm going to attack this lower line. I'm going to be very aggressive coming into turn number 1 and stuff?
Well, the plan had to the way to pass them, in my opinion, would have either been to get a really big run in the second lane going into 1, so then you have a nose ahead going into 1, and then you pinch really hard and you just try to get a big enough run down the back straight that you can clear on the entry to 3 to get the low lane. Or there was a couple times where I just had to try it because I didn't know how it would work, and that is like just one time I shoved it on the inside 4 wide into 1, and I think Rob did the same thing. Just obviously demerit was so low already. I was on basically the inside of the track with dirty air or with like a very compromised line, so I had to lift so much it just didn't work. But yeah, at that point we're just kind of trying everything and just taking runs when you get them, and yeah, that's about it. Like,
well, 3rd place at the end, and as you mentioned, as you briefly referenced as well, good day for points as well. Congratulations on that result, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate Rob on the win, and yeah, thank everybody at Powerslide for the work. See you guys next week.
We will see you next week. Adam Blocker, 3rd place here tonight at Texas. And one final driver who's come to chat to us as well is Chris Demerit as well in 4th. Welcome, Chris. Good to have you with us. Are you looking back on those final few laps and wondering what could have been in that race, or was it an inevitability with you leading with so few laps to go that you were going to get attacked like that?
It could have worked out. I only had a few more to go. Adam and I just got tagged while I've been 3 and 4, and that was basically all Jacob and Rob needed to get around. But it was working out. Rolled the dice on a pit call, and it ended up having to work out. So I had a lot of fun at the end racing with all those guys, but it didn't quite work out.
It didn't quite work out in terms of a race win, but it's still 4th place. And you mentioned pit calls throughout the day. I've got to say, obviously I've not driven these cars in this situation. However, I was surprised that the tyres didn't make much more of a difference for lots of those who pitted compared to you guys who were at that point on more than 20 lap older tyres. What was the thinking behind that and the situation with that they just weren't overtaking you at that stage?
The thinking was that, really what it came down to was if you really wanted the lead, because I was by far the best on tires, even though you could try and defend down the back straight and the front straight, it was definitely the lane to be in, and you could sort of control the race from down there. So we stayed out since there was like 50 laps to go, or how many ever there was under that one caution. You could make it on fuel, but if we got another caution in like 20 laps, let's say, which I think is what ended up happening, everyone would probably want to come down for tires anyway, so we would take the extra fuel then. So there was a lot of chanting for cautions to come out right before the caution came out, but it was really just to get to the lead and try and hold it from there.
Well, it paid off in terms of a decent result, I suppose, even if it's maybe a few positions lower than you wanted. Congratulations on 4th place tonight, Chris, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks very much, Christopher. Their 4th place at the end tonight at Texas. And that just about does it here for us tonight. We have had some fantastic racing, 125 laps and nearly 200 miles in the Lone Star State. But now it's time to go from nearly the very south of the USA to the very north, and Belle Isle. The Detroit Grand Prix is coming up next for round 9 of the iRacing IndyCar Open Series. We'll be broadcasting it to you live once again. The very first time slot of the rounds at 7 p.m. ET. That's at midnight UTC. The Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle will be coming your way here on RaceSpotTV, so make sure you join us on February 5th for that one. A big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in this evening. I hope you've enjoyed the show, because we certainly have. It's been a wonderful race. Great racing to the end that eventually allowed Robert Maletzka to reign victorious here in Texas. My name's Ewan O'Leary. I've been alongside Lorenzo Bonda with Dane Bear behind the cameras throughout this evening. And until we see you in 1 week's time for the Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle, it's goodbye for now.